Dr. Anthony Fauci was optimistic yesterday in an interview on CNN. He still believes we have a very good chance of a coronavirus vaccine ready by the end of the year. That's a mixed bag to me. I mean, that's good news, bad news. There are people insisting that we can't even begin to think about proceeding as normal until there's a vaccine available. And you know what? That's frustrating. I guess sort of understandable. There's something going on in Washington that I want to kind of pick your brain over. Eric, can you grab the music for me there, buddy? Thank you. There's something going on over proxy voting, and I am kind of aghast that this is happening, and the Democrats are getting away with something that seems to be completely unconstitutional. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, yesterday on Fox and Friends, said that the country expects Congress to go to work and be present for votes. Every single Republican is voting in person. Democrats are staying home. Pelosi wants this proxy voting. And Kevin McCarthy accuses her of doing that because she wants more power. He said the only reason Democrats are doing this is it empowers Pelosi to be even stronger. Watch what she was able to do a couple of weeks ago. Pass $3 trillion with never going through a committee and no one's seen the bill. We know how good she is at that. We'll have to pass it before anybody reads it, right? Proxy voting allows House members to vote on another person's behalf if they are not able to be physically present at the Capitol. At least that's the rules, the way the Democrats have unveiled them. 59 Democrats have submitted letters to the House Clerk's office to be able to cast vote by proxy. Not a single Republican has supported this measure. Republicans, I believe rightfully so, are arguing that the Constitution requires a quorum, a majority of lawmakers, to be physically present. Do you know that we have never, our country has never, ever had members of Congress refuse to do their job and show up and vote? Like Minority Leader McCarthy said yesterday, from the yellow fever, the 17, I mean, I think he's right. And to me, it's also about the optics of trying to tee up mail-in votes, because that's what the Democrats are all about. Have you seen all the stories about people getting 83 mail-in ballots and grandma who died 10 years ago is getting ballots? You know how rife with corruption this is going to be if the Democrats get their wish. Who wrote the book? Was it Hewitt who wrote the book, They Can't Win If They Don't Cheat? I mean, all you have to do is consider how they feel about voter ID laws. They want to be able to cheat. Who's fooling who here? Who's fooling who? I mean, here's Kevin McCarthy yesterday on Fox and Friends. I want you to hear his argument, and I'm interested in your reaction to what he had to say, because the minority leader makes a compelling case for the Constitution, for decorum, for, I don't know, hell's bells. How about going to work if you're getting a paycheck and you're a member of Congress? They're staying home and getting somebody else to vote for them because they don't want to go to Washington, D.C. and work. How many millions of Americans are just aching to go to their job and go to work? I watched a story last night about Disney World on Spectrum News, not Spectrum, I think call it Bay News 9 in the Tampa Bay area. The lady who's a Disney cast member, she's worked at the Crystal Palace food court for like 40 years. And she started crying when she said how desperately Disney World employees, known as cast members, want to go back to work. They just do. They need the money. They need the income. They need their life back. And they're going to wear masks and guests are going to wear masks. Disney World is opening, apparently, if Governor DeSantis approves the plan. July 11th. I'd love to be there. I'm not kidding you. I'd love to go. Maybe broadcast from Disney when they're open, if they'll let me. Because that, to me, is such a great Disney. First of all, it's a very special place for my family and me. It's a very special place for millions and millions of people all over the world. And the reopening of Walt Disney World, to me, is going to symbolize an incredible breakthrough in the battle against this pandemic. Disney, Magic Kingdom, and I think it's Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom are scheduled July 11th, and then the Hollywood Studios and Epcot are scheduled July 15th. I might have that wrong about which park is going to open, but it's mid-July. July 11th and July 15th, Disney is scheduled to open. These people are longing to get to work. Democrats in Congress want to stay home as long as possible. Here's Minority Leader McCarthy yesterday on Fox News Channel's Fox and Friends.
You cited the Constitution, but you know that the Constitution says Congress can make any rules they want, and this is a rule that she wanted and she passed.
That's true. Congress can make any rule, but they cannot go against the Constitution. If that is true, then Congress can make a rule that only women can vote, that only California can vote, that Republican votes only count 0.5%. They cannot do something unconstitutional. That's why what they are doing has not been done in 231 years. When the Capitol was burnt down during the War of 1812, when we had the Spanish flu in 1918, when we had 9/11, we still were able to convene. We are going to space today. We are opening up California, but 63 Democrats are not coming to work, and they're still being paid. They were able to come to work a couple weeks ago, but now they can't. Why? Because it empowers Nancy Pelosi to have all the power. Only 20 members can hold all the proxies to be able to pass any bill they want on the floor. Unheard of, and it is not what the founders believed this country should do. It is going to go to a court.
Isn't Kevin McCarthy right? 800-655-MIKE. Welcome into the ReliefFactor.com studio, Thursday, May the 28th edition of the Mike Gallagher Show. I hope you follow us on our YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. You can always contact us if you don't want to call or text. Our email is mike@mikeonline.com. Mike@mikeonline.com. Here's Eric. Hey, Eric, thanks for your patience. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be on the show. I hope you don't mind if I switch back to what's going on in Minneapolis.
Feel free. Feel free. Please do.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not one to rush to convict, but it certainly appears that the police made an egregious mistake in what happened to this man that died. But I think what they've done now is they've compounded the mistake by letting people run wild, destroy property, destroy places where people live. And the police up there have done absolutely nothing. I used to live there. It's a beautiful place, and it breaks my heart to see this stuff.
I don't know that there's been one arrest, Eric. I don't know that they've arrested a single person.
That's incredibly disturbing. Just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you quit doing your job. I mean, granted, the jobs that I've had, the mistakes that I have made, no one died, okay? But when I mess up, that doesn't mean I stick my head in the sand and quit.
Well, a lot of it may be just overwhelmed. I mean, some of these video images I've seen, Eric, from Los Angeles to Minneapolis just show police completely outnumbered. You got mobs of rioters who are attacking the police vehicles, breaking out the windows. There's this horrific video. I hate to show it, but I think we should. And if you're on our YouTube channel right now and you're by a computer or your smartphone, it's difficult to watch. Not as difficult to watch as George Floyd's death. I mean, believe me, that's one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. This guy begging for his life, please get up, please stop. I can't breathe. I cannot breathe. It's horrible. And it's one of the most painful things that anybody could witness on video, to know that this man died, likely as a result of all of this. And yet the video, that led up to this. They found new surveillance video that the media got, and it didn't show any resistance on his part whatsoever. So you go back to asking, why in the world did this officer not let up off this guy's neck after they had him restrained? It's awful. 800-655-Mike. Kevin, you're next. Hey, Kevin.
Hi, Mike. Good
Hi.
to talk to you.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I was calling about the same thing about the George Floyd. Now, I guess my view is that I'm really saddened that people always jump to the racial aspect of things. I mean, it's clearly something wrong happened to this man. But I mean, it wouldn't matter if he was white or Chinese or the race of the cop either. You know, I just find it disturbing that we always jump to that. Like, why can't we?
I understand that. And one wonders, if it was a white man on the ground, if George Floyd was a white man, would there be riots? Likely not, if the same exact circumstances happened. On the other hand, Kevin, I do believe it's crucial to appreciate the fact that there has been a great deal of an acknowledgement that a lot of Black Americans believe that police officers treat them differently than they treat everybody else. And, you talk to a young Black kid growing up who says, I've been stopped 8, 10, 12 times because I drive a nice car, and I've been stopped, the old, driving while Black. So you're right. There are activists who want to racialize everything. Having said that, I don't think we can ignore racist acts that a lot of people have had to endure. Do you?
Yeah, no, I mean, that totally makes sense. The other thing, too, about what you're just talking about now with the proxy voting, I do have a question about that. I'm not quite sure I understand how Pelosi gets more power through proxy voting. Is it because they don't have to debate? Is it because she can rush votes?
Right, that's the argument. Well, the argument is the Constitution says you have to be present. And the fact that over 231 years, they've never done this. This is the one thing that is keeping members of Democrat members of Congress home. Not burning down the Capitol, the yellow fever, the Civil War, Spanish flu, 9/11, they always convened. So the idea that now this time they get to stay home, there's a handful of Democrats who are allowing Pelosi to sort of, ramrod through any kind of legislation because she's the Speaker of the House. I believe it's a harbinger of things that they want to come, specifically mail-in ballots, which will be a disaster. 800-655-Mike. What do you say to the caller or any of us who say, man, here we go again with race? Do you agree with me that there are a lot of Black Americans who have a very firm belief that there are two levels of justice, two kinds of justice dispensed? Do you believe that there'd be riots if the victim on the ground had been white or Hispanic or Asian?